Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar. Our topic today is how to create better sales onboarding content. My name is Ravish and I'm the VP of Product at Osset.io. A little bit about Osset.io. Osset.io is an enablement platform that aims to make enablement easy. And we believe that enablement content shouldn't be really that hard. It should be very easy to create, measure, and things like that. And we really provide a platform that makes your sales onboarding processes much more easier. And so let's get started. Before we go into the webinar today, a few housekeeping details. All attendees are in listen-only mode. We will be emailing you a copy of the webinar after this webinar. If you have questions regarding the topic, please feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is at the end of the webinar. So please do send your questions. We always love a good interaction. You may have different insights into the process. We are always happy to listen to some of them. All right, so with that, we'll get started. So why this focus on sales onboarding content? When typically the industry talks about sales onboarding, it's less about the content, it's more about the process. We think both of them have an equal part in this, in the success of ramping up a new sales hire. So after you made the decision of getting a new sales reps to scale your organization, the one factor that everybody is aligned on is how fast can you make the new sales rep effective within your organization. How fast can you improve their knowledge? How fast can you get their behaviors in line with your organization? All of these are pretty critical. Now, content, sales onboarding content plays a very critical role in this onboarding aspect. And this is all towards getting them to be the best performing sales rep ever. That's the best ideal scenario. Some quick stats on sales onboarding process. There are quite a few stats on the slide, 4 stats, but one of the key stats is most of the industry agrees that it takes on an average 90 days or 3 months to onboard most of the sales reps. There are studies that show that it's more than 3 months, anywhere between 3 to 6 months, but from our experience, we found out that 3 months is generally 12 weeks, 3 months, 90 days, however you want to see it. Is generally the average ramp-up time for a sales rep to get trained on the platform and actually get started. About 55% of people surveyed, this is one of the research reports that Osset.io ran, where one of the top 3 goals was actually improving or ramping up, improving sales onboarding time for new hires. So the other 2 were, of course, more focused on providing rapid access to content for teams on the go and things like that. Now, the other 2 stats that I would like to also call out is once you have the sales rep in your environment, being able to give them access to a system that allows them to rapidly access content, find the right content, and actually learn more about it is equally critical. The bottom 2 stats really focus on how sales reps spend about 25% of the time, or 65% of the sales reps can never find the relevant content. So it kind of brings you a little more in line with how search is a very critical functionality in this whole process. So before we go into the content itself, we want to spend a little time on the how sales onboarding content should be delivered or could be delivered. Increasingly, we are seeing that people are moving away. A lot of companies and organizations are moving away from the monolithic PPT or PDF formats, and they are choosing to deliver the content via online tools, web tools. The beauty of this is many of the systems out there also support mobile or native apps, so which means sales reps also have access to the content on the go. Now, another equally important piece, it's just not about using a SharePoint repository or a Box repository or a Dropbox repository and you just put a bunch of PPTs or PDFs there. It's all about trying to create content in a bite-sized manner and we will be covering a lot of this in today's webinar. Bite-sized concepts, very popularized by some of the MOOCs that have launched recently in the last 5-6 years. And one of the reasons why MOOCs are seeing such amazing completion rates is the quick learn and reward cycle that they have established, where the videos are not longer than 7 to 8 minutes. The content is not longer than a one-pager. And the idea is that the user is already answering his or her first quiz within the first three, let's say, bite-sized assets. This gets the user into a quick cycle where they learn, get themselves, reevaluate what they have learned very quickly. And this leads to better memory, better retention, and even better engagement with your content. The other piece that we would also advise is also to leverage multiple formats. It's just having plain walls of text is boring, is quite tedious. To break the monotony, to change the format a bit, focus on building 30-second videos, 2-minute video pitches, having different people speak in a single video or just an audio stream, or break it up with some imagery which walks people through certain core concepts. All of these go a long way in actually improving the quality and nature of your sales onboarding content and your process as well. Let's go to the actual content itself. And on actual onboarding content, you can take a look at some of the blocks of content that a sales onboarding process must have. Largely, give your company overview, talk a little bit about the industry and market, customers, solution sales process tools, competition and objection handling, enablement resources, and pricing packaging. And we will go to each of these in detail in the next few slides. So let's start with the company overview. In the company overview, you want to give your sales reps a quick introduction about your company, get the reps to connect with the genesis story about the company, fast facts about the company, who's on the leadership team, and how long have they been here, what's their background, talk a little bit about your clients, who do you already have on your roster, and also, have some quick video introductions about the team, get them to talk into videos and have the videos available to them as part of the sales onboarding process. And then also list out all your awards and recognitions, other notable mentions from the industries. Going into the industry and market, focusing on market drivers as to what are some of the industry trends and pressures, what's changing in the market, how are your buyers reacting to it, gives your new sales reps a quick understanding about the market that you are operating in. Then once the sales reps understand the market that you're operating in, trying to give them a quick overview about the marketing programs that you're running, to actually say how you're generating the leads and running these events which are basically driving your lead funnel is equally important, so that the sales reps actually understand where the leads are coming in from or what content they consume and things like that. From a lead definition perspective, one of the things that we have often seen, very critical, trying to let the sales reps know very early on what defines a lead, what is a marketing qualified lead, what is a sales qualified lead, and trying to give them a very good idea about the customer or the buyer profile or persona is very critical in establishing the overall industry and market in their minds. Again, going more detailed into the customers, how do you get your sales reps to really understand your target customers, create complete profiles, give them a persona, give them a name, give them some sort of use photography and imagery to build certain profiles in your sales rep's mind. Talk about what their titles are, roles are, what their daily pressures are, what are some of their key performance indicators or OKRs in their jobs and roles, so that the sales reps can understand how to position your product and how to actually walk them through the product. Also, it would be great if you also have a list of or a process map on the typical buying cycle or journey by a given buyer persona or a role. One of the key things that we've seen that goes a long way in sales onboarding content is the value prompting conversations, trying to just give sales reps a bunch of questions, allowing them to formulate these questions, which basically say that how to begin a conversation, how to glean information from a conversation. What are some of the trigger words that you should be looking for? Just like, for example, data loss prevention, encrypted backups, privacy issues, are, some maybe for a storage company or a backup company, maybe these are some of the trigger words that the sales reps need to be aware of. So things like this information being available. Now, one of the things that we're doing as we're talking through this journey is, if you notice that every one of this information is being almost given its own chapter. So, and the reason to do this is to actually create logical containers within which information can exist. So because that's how we all process information. We love to classify information. And that is exactly how this presentation is also structured. From a customer success perspective, as we are talking about customers, trying to give your sales reps a quick overview about some of the success stories that you had in different verticals, different industries, video interviews with customers, infographics that are based on customer success stories, all go a long way in enforcing your overall product solution in the minds of your reps. Now we come to the solutions itself, and within the solutions, we're looking at what are the features of a product solution? What are the different features? What are the key differentiators? How should each feature be pitched? Why is a feature relevant? And if possible, if you can do a feature to industry trends, pressures, risks, so mapping, it goes a long way in cementing the associations in the rep's mind. From a upsell or an integration perspective, it's also important for them to be aware of upsell, integrations, partner stories, things like that they can actually leverage in actually making a deal or a new sale happen. And like as always, having frequently asked questions, more around the selling process, more around what if scenarios are also very important under the solution bucket. Now coming on to the sales process, very early on, one of the things that we advise that companies do is set up a complete view of your sales stages. Let the sales reps know very early on what your overall sales process is. How does a lead move from a prospect stage to a contract proposal or a win stage? Map this down to the buyer cycle so that they are aware that what need or what are the content needs against every cycle, from a sales stage perspective and even from a buyer cycles perspective. So being able to run people through all of this is quite critical. In addition to this, having sales tasks shown as an interactive demo or a walkthrough, telling people how to use a CRM, how they should, what are the essential sales tasks that they have to do on an everyday basis, having them run through those things as a dry run, assigning them mock opportunities, mock leads, getting them to go through the whole life cycle of a lead within your CRM also is very critical in the process. Sales strategies and tips. These are advice. These are maybe some advice from your veteran salespeople. What are the tips and tricks to start a conversation? How to keep prospects engaged and warm? How do you not seem intrusive and yet have a conversation? So things like that. Also, if you have them documented, it will help the new sales reps um, uh, in better selling of your product. Here is a quick map of how the different sales stages are mapped to your playbooks. We will just continue and to the tools. From a tool perspective, we talked a little bit about the CRM in the previous section, but again, getting into more details of the CRM, walk the CRM through every possible task within their CRM as to how to create a lead, how to create an opportunity, how to close an opportunity, how to change the status of an opportunity, how to log a task, how to create the new task. What are the right etiquettes within the CRM? All of this information can be covered under the CRM training module. From an analytics perspective, again, giving them a quick overview of dashboards, reports that they need to be very familiar with, and what do each of these metrics mean, how do they assess the overall performance of the sales organization or their specific teams, how do they detect risk and how to flag them early, give them a view of what the sample metrics are. Again, all of these will help them understand how sales teams itself are evaluated and how the organization views the sales process. From a tools perspective, another thing that we've seen that is very interesting is being able to provide your sales reps with what we call sandbox demos, being able to give them not just a live system. It's great to train them on a live system, but being able to give them a practice demo environment which is more click-based, powered by some sort of animation, walkthrough based, not really a live environment. All of these apps go a long way in improving a salesperson's confidence in interacting with the real world software. Coming on to competition and objections, listing out who your key competitors are, how do you win against them, what are their strengths and weaknesses, how do you respond to certain objection handling questions from your prospects. Things like that will allow a sales rep to be a little more agile in the field as they start working on some of the new opportunities. Again, being able to reiterate key differentiators in the same context also helps. One of the other pieces is the enablement resources, giving them a quick look at where they can find all the demos, videos, all the other assets that you have in the sales repository, just more like a quick link index, also will allow them to find content very quickly. All of this, if powered by a beautiful search interface, can really improve the overall usage of the system and assets that you provide them. Pricing and packaging, one of the most critical pieces. How does pricing work? What are the leverages? What are the levers that someone can pull in a sales process around pricing? Are your products packaged? Will there be a better price if you're packaging your products and selling them with some other product? Information like this allows the salesperson to compartmentalize and understand what are some of the different options that are available as they are talking to the prospects. So here we have, we just talked so much about onboarding content, bite-sized nature of the content, and how it needs to be delivered. Now, what we're looking at on the screen is a sample of onboarding content built in a platform, built in our platform, oset.io. And as you can see, the personas and conversations block is broken down into customer personas and value discovery conversations chapter. Solution overview has 4 more chapters. Customer success has 3 more chapters, and things like that. Now, being able to break out content into these bite-sized chapters goes a long way in helping them retain information. This is again another screenshot of how some of the content can be built on our platform. This is more on the sales opportunities at the buying stages. And we come to basic, how do you improve the success, or how do you codify behaviors in the sales onboarding process? One of the things that we have begun to see a lot of is the role interactive apps play in these onboarding systems or tools. So being able to have a short interactive quiz, being able to have apps like flashcards to improve memorization or recall, being able to have practice demo environments, or being able to work with tools which are chaperone or guided selling tools are very important in the overall sales process. And all of these tools, each of these tools have different objectives. Some aid memorization, some aid recall, some aid logical structuring, some improve pitch confidence levels. Each of these actually go, contribute in your overall sales onboarding journey. And again, a feedback loop or analytics, it's just to understand how the reps are progressing, how much content are they consuming, who's your top performing rep, and things like that through an analytics dashboard. Again, also give you early signals on the success or the interventions required in your sales onboarding program. A sample program structure, what we've seen based on our experience, a 12-week program, maximum of 3 content blocks every week with interactive apps throughout the whole program, and being able to repeat 1 or 2 blocks every other week, interlaying those blocks again with some of the newer blocks that you're introducing, also improves the overall retention and memorization cycle. So here is a sample flashcard app that, let's say that the user has learned a little bit about the solution, and now he is just practicing, he or she is just practicing on this specific solution. So, basically there's a question. If the user doesn't know the answer, they can flip the question and actually see the answer for that specific question. A sample report, again from our system where we show how many people are visiting the sales onboarding site, how many visitors, how many views, what was the completion rate, time spent on site, who are the top users, what content is trending, where are they coming from, and things like that. So as you can see, this is all about creating bite-sized content, having systems to measure the success of content, covering certain essential content in chunks, and being able to offer to them in a web or an online format. All of these basically go a long way in helping or improving your sales onboarding process and content. So once again, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Ravish, and like I said earlier, if you have questions regarding this webinar and topic, please feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is here on the screen. If you would like to give OSET.io a try, please do sign up for a free trial on www.oset.io. And that's about it for today's webinar. Thank you so much for joining us today.